Oh, I'm driving my truck and trailer. We're back at it, guys. On our way to work here. It is Friday on Sunday here, still in January 2020. Holy shit, I almost said 2019. Episode Unfuck Yourself. I think this is the opening. I think this Unfuck Yourself thing can go on a complete series, man. Give you guys some thoughts I've been thinking about. I've got hundreds of, I don't even know where to start with this one, but we definitely need to unfuck ourselves. Whether you're thinking the government did it to you, you know, it's oppression by other people, things. I think I preach a lot on this show is you might want to consider taking a look at ourselves. I don't want to speak like point at you because this one may be like kind of a painful one to most people, the realization. I think some of these Disney cartoons, I don't know if I already swore, whatever. Home learned vocabulary, not for angel ears, not for kids, it's adult content. But some of these fucking cartoons, guys, like Kung Fu Panda is one thing that comes to mind. Is how does this pertain to unfucking yourself? In the end, the panda seeking enlightenment and seeking the teachings of all things finally gets up and finds this magic scroll, right, which has the answer to everything from the whole show, the whole cartoon, the whole movie, all ends up into a scroll that is actually a mirror, and he's looking at himself. That's you've had everything. You've always had it. There's no there to get to. You have everything equipped with you. Let's just get into the show here. Let's do the opening. Welcome to another edition of Up and In. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it is dedicated to creating an alternative lifestyle design that improves quality of life for both people and planet, exploring alternatives to the daily grind through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. Finally, that strep throat, man. It's like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and I still got some residuals, so if there's a little momentary of coughing, I apologize. We're also on our way to work in the 7.3 liter diesel F350, which is loud as shit. So yeah, good morning, guys. How are ya? Yeah, we're gonna unfuck you, man. So yeah, as I said in the opening here, yourself, man, we could just start with that, is what I've learned from the Gerson therapy. That's Gerson, I believe. Gerson therapy. They have a 95% success rate of curing people from cancer, diabetes, all kinds of different things. And how does this correlate into a alternative lifestyle design? Is that it's just that you've got everything in yourself. And the methodology of this Gerson therapy is that your body already has everything it needs, right? What they do is they actually flush your body out with juices, like vegetable, organic juices and everything, to get all the toxins and everything out. They do these coffee enemas. I don't want to go too much in detail, but the coffee somehow, somewhere, somebody figured out, yes, it's an enema. You put it up your butt. It's supposed to expel all the excretions in your liver, which filters a lot of the toxins in your body. So it's a it's a detoxifying thing. So the overall picture, if you just kind of skim over the top, is that when it comes down to it all, your body, your immune system and everything has everything to fight off infections. Most infections, I know there's gangrene and things like that, but more or less a healthy body has everything it needs to do all kinds of things. There's Weston Price, where he went and traveled the world, was showing that actually people's cavities healed by them, well, not by themselves, but healed by the natural body. It like encapsulated the cavity with enamel. I don't know how true it is, but just crazy shit, guys, crazy stuff. So the point is, you see, is I think with our mentalities, our physical bodies, our immune systems, our minds, our spirits, everything is equipped with everything that we already need. We're just fooled into thinking that there's something else out there that we need in order to be complete. And if I could say the biggest one of how to unfuck yourself, that would probably be it. Now, granted, we do have the system. John Malkovich in the movie Red, the dentist. Irritating shit that happens from other people. Like you can look at the government then. So a lot of people are very pissed off and think that we're oppressed, and to a certain extent we are. As I say, in the financial areas of alternative lifestyle design, is that you're getting taxed the hell out of, man. Depending on where you live, like I said, if you look at the numbers, it's 30%, they'll take of your check. 35%, give or take. depending on how much you make. And most people don't look at the things like I do because I'm a freak. And I look, and the taxation doesn't stop there, because the money they just gave you back after they took 35%, they gave you that money back, right? Tax-free. You did all your dues. Now you're going to pay dues again when you go buy anything, electricity, water, pay for utilities, basically groceries, gas, anything. It all goes back. It's a 7-point-something% or up to 8%, depending on where you're at here in Sunnyside, Northern California. But you see how the thing, everything just rolls, and it's a horrible thing. Yeah, the medical system's fucked up. There's all kinds of things that are, everything is fucked, or is it? How can we unfuck the situation? I think by studying the system. And I've said that before. It may sound weird to you guys, but the system is fucking genius. Whether you're religious or not, I'm not here to debate or anything on that, or if you're a conspiracy theorist, I'm not. I'm open to everything. I look at things. But isn't it interesting that the powers of the people in power throughout the lifespan of humanity, whoever's writing the history and things of that nature, the manipulation they've had on people, and maybe possibly that they have to have. I'm not personally religious in any form or matter, and I don't mind I don't care if you are. Everybody's doing what works for them. But I would like to say that some of the words of like Jesus Christ are like, you almost kind of have to have little laws like that, because some people are just flat out dumb. Like, don't kill your brother. Oh, okay. I'm not going to murder my brother or my sisters. No rape, don't cheat, don't steal. Do unto others as you would do unto yourself. And it's not just Jesus who said those things. There's also all kinds of ancient writings and things of wonderful stuff from Buddha, Siddhartha, if you start digging for them. And in fact, if the parts that are written are accurately documented through the time of history, some are way before Jesus Christ, some are after. You've got Confucius, you've got all kinds of wonderful philosophers and people saying great things. But I wonder, even in our present state of how we bitch and complain that we're moving towards a police state and things like that, how things are running, the government's trying to gain control. Some of the stuff, again, I'm not even on the government side, but sometimes it makes sense. Like, one of the things that's happening here, I heard, it's probably a conspiracy theory in Southern California, is that they're trying to corral all the people and put them in the city and then leave the country open. That may be for rich people so they can enjoy the country and make it difficult for all the middle class, the poor people, cram them all in the city and let them fuck that whole thing up. I've heard this even in a large scale in the United States, that they're trying to just push people into cities. That kind of makes sense though. And then you look at like skyscrapers and large buildings where people are stacked on top of each other, but that would allow the natural area around it to actually heal itself, I think. The animals have more room and things of that nature. Like I said, this thing could go on in all kinds of different ways, but the point I wanted to make is that maybe we might want to consider to observe the situation with the way the matrix, the way the government runs things, these commercials, the strategies, the automation of things, and how can we apply that into our personal lives. And to give you guys some examples, I'm doing all kinds of things, like applying those, as far as my biodegradable container gardening system, automated almost completely. There's drip irrigation, the soil, I've got a whole mixture of soil that could be the same no matter where you are in the world. So meaning that we can monitor that soil, and we can nudge that soil in different ways for different species of plants. And this is all from, I've got these ideas from watching the system, also the marketing of it. I've explained it to you guys before. Those of you who didn't hear, is like, I'm actually using the system, using social media and stuff to boost my business, to get things rolling. And at the same time, unlike the government, I believe, I'm actually improving quality of life and creating community. Because what I'm doing is, I got a membership program, and what I'm doing is I'm endorsing that people go into mama and papa stores instead of Walmart, and Starbucks and things like that. Go into your local coffee shop, and they're going to give you a 10% discount. And I'm not charging the vendors anything, a Fallbrook coffee shop or whatever it is. I'm not charging anybody anything. I'm just basically putting my members who do pay me for a small membership and making it way better, way worth it in them for their small fee that'll actually pay for itself. You get it? You can turn stuff on itself. I've said it a million times. Martial arts, I guess. I'm not a martial artist, but I study a lot of different philosophies and things. And they says that in order to conserve your energy and to win an opponent is keep, when a blow comes to you, to turn it back on itself. Keep reverting the energy back on the opponent. So there's many things, you guys, that we can do. We are not stuck. This is this is one of the best times to ever be alive. I can tell you guys from today that what I'm doing is making a cloud net. For those of you who don't know, it's like a net that captures clouds, right? And this is gonna go above my greenhouse in my biodegradable container gardening system. Well, I need to calculate how much water comes off a square foot. And using Google, I found out, I knew this before, I just have to keep refreshing myself because there's so much information in the fucking noodle. In this ape brain, there's not a lot of room, guys. We need to do some spring cleaning because there's a lot of stuff filed in there, some stuff that shouldn't be there. But yeah, it's about 0.6 gallons per square foot of water. Why is this significant at all? What does this have to do with a alternative lifestyle design? A whole bunch of shit, guys. There's so many fucking answers, like especially for a dummy ape like me, to be able to just pick it up and go, what is the square, how many gallons per square foot of rain falls on yada-da? Well, it fucking pops right up. I didn't even have to click on the information. It was already in the description. That's crazy, guys. And I'm also trying to figure, and where did I learn about the cloud net? The moisture comes up, it hits the cloud net, the dew drops down, it's gonna slide down the incline of the roof, go into a gutter system, and then I'm gonna have a tote to catch it. How much water pressure do I need of lift to get my plants watered and everything? Again, I Google it. So the point of this is, guys, is there's so much information out there at your fingertips. And to unfuck yourself is to go and look for this information, look for the holes. That's what I do constantly. That's the main part of the show. I think the main teaching, the main message is that there's so much out there. We're fucked, right? Oh, life sucks. Well, what's the alternative? What I'm finding, and when I stay away from the negative nannies and the Debbie Downers and the people and get my mind refreshed and start getting into a life of mind magic and wonderment again, and start to seek my way out instead of cementing my way in with most fucking people, which they fucking do. They'll sit there and find reasons of why we shouldn't do shit, why everything sucks. But when you get away from that and you start getting into your own mode and finding the answers, it starts to get really exciting. It's almost devious. You're like, right now it's tax season, right? And there's all kinds of loopholes and stuff in taxes, but it just the point, it feels fucking wonderful is like, I don't know if any of you guys experience this, but it's like when I could find $1 that I'm not giving to the IRS, I'm like, you bastards ain't getting that dollar. Right off. You want to keep it coming, sister? Huh? You want to throw in bam, 50 bucks, just dug it up out of nowhere, found it, a whole pack of whatever expenses, business expenses. You ain't getting that 50 bucks, you know. But yeah, there's plenty of ways, guys, and I think that's the numero uno thing to unfuck yourself is wake up to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror like the Kung Fu Panda cartoon and ask yourself, am I willing to fight? Am I willing to give up? I think I did a podcast on that a couple days ago where it's really tripping me the fuck out right now is I'm looking at a lot of older people and it looks like they've given up on everything. They start to get fat, they start to get lethargic, they just want to sit around, do nothing. The word is like when you get old, you have food. You know, food is like, that's the best thing. You know, you can't have sex anymore, or you don't want to have sex, whatever the case is, or, you know, you've made yourself unfuckable. Jokes, folks. But you know what? Nice looking bodies, healthy spirits, everything I think is a lot more attractive than a Debbie Downer glob of stuff, just walking around all depressed and angry at everything. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of people give up, older people, and I don't blame them, because the system is very rough. It's very hard around all the edges and I mean, everywhere you turn. There's that song, missiles are coming at you sideways, you know? I can't remember how it went, but that's the gist of it is there's always something after you, and I don't think it has to be this way. We can automate things. We can use stuff against it, like using martial arts. So I think that you guys need to wake up and figure out before you get down on yourself so far. I think there's a point where like your creativity and your patience, like I think that's one of the things I look at women is like, you got to give it to them, dude. Being a single dad, working, taking care of kids, especially with special needs. Like I have an 11-year-old that's probably in a 5-year-old mentality, or even a 4-year-old, right? You got to have patience as shit, man. You got to fucking be a Zen fucking master. They're always in your way. My daughter, when you're just walking, to give you guys, for instance, will pull on your arm, so you're walking and you're being pulled down. You go, what the hell's going on? You're not paying attention. It's shit like that. But I think there's a point where I see where people give up because it becomes so much, and you just can't handle everything. And I wonder if how much of the clutter in our lives, whether it's in our homes, our spirituality, in our minds, our business, our money, clutter and disorganization, and then all the stuff that comes on top of it, just literally breaks you down physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. And I think if we don't get a grasp on that now while you're younger and you still have some creativity and some hopes and stuff, then that's the way you need to do that to unfuck yourself. And if you already are in that situation, I think that it's just a mindset. If you're an older person and you're just bitter and you see all the shit and all around you, yes, there is, and I'll agree with you. People are fucking dumb, man. People are disrespectful pieces of shit. The majority of them, I'd say the fucking majority of people suck, man. And it's a very difficult area. But you know what? It's not our job to change the world. And look at those who came before you, like Gandhi, How many people, even fucking like young people now or even older people, know the full story or what happened or what was the teachings? Where was it implemented? Did it change lives? Yes, it did, to a significant few, in only my opinion. These are all my opinions. But the man was murdered, supposedly, on account of what he was doing. And I guess the point is like, you got to be the best you that you could be. You got to be the ultimate you. You got to be the Olympian of you. And you need to fight your way out of this. We didn't get here overnight, and we're sure as fuck are not going to get out of here overnight. And you need to strategize. But I think that if you're older and you're down to that point where you're just hating life, man, it's all perspective. Everything is perspective. It's the goggles you're seeing through. What you see, what you believe determines your experience. There's a few things that are a fact in this life, but in absolutes, but I think that is definitely one of them. The more you cement, just like I said earlier, the more you feed yourself, not just with other people, but you feed yourself of why things suck. You start to add these things into the subconscious mind, and you're just like filing them in there, and they're all there like little skeletons, pretty much fucking up your life. And I've told you guys how to deal with this, to give you guys answers, is one of the methodologies I've done. I'm pretty sure it's not original. It may have been somewhere else, but this is the best thing I can explain to you guys, is like smoking a cigarette. Here's the negative thoughts. Do breathing techniques. 4 breaths out and 4 breaths in, and do 8 breaths out and per second, right? You're going to do 4 breaths, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, hold for 1 second, exhale for 8 seconds out, stop for 1 second, inhale. So you're going to get yourself breathing, and once you get comfortable, which this is going to do for you, then you're going to start thinking of the thoughts that you have, the negative thoughts. And in physical form, I think this is very necessary. What you're going to do is you're going to act like a cigarette. You're going to breathe whatever negativity you have in the outside world here, or in the physical world, into your lungs, and you're going to experience that as you're breathing in. And as you're breathing out, you're going to let go, and you're going to focus on that thing. You're going to do creative visualization of, I do not need this belief system anymore. I don't need this negativity. And you're going to let it all out, just like smoke out of your body. And you're going to cleanse yourself. You're going to keep doing this over and over again and you'll need to do it probably for the rest of your life. But it's not just a job. Things will definitely get better for you, I promise. You will start to experience that you just made amends with things at first, at square one, is that you actually realize and you identified with the situation of what's fucking up your life. Because I think a lot of us are going around and we kind of have these feelings and stuff, and I think a lot of people don't even know where they come from. That's where the subconscious mind makes a lot of sense to me, because as I said, all these negative things that came from maybe fear and anxiety from religion, government, war, your parents, yourself, all of these things start to pack up, and then you have them filed in that subconscious mind. And every time you go to do something, pay attention to it. There's this little voice that comes in and goes, you little fucking snot-nosed bitch, you ain't gonna be able to do that. You suck. Where's this voice coming from? Who is that? Who's speaking right now? Those are those little things that you got filed, and you need to deal with them. And is it worth it to carry on the rest of your life having these little like ghost things in your life telling you suck and you can't do shit for the rest of your life, instead of identifying with them, and now you know you have a tool to deal with them. So it's painful to know that they're there and to identify with them, but knowing that you have a way to deal with it now, I think far exceeds laziness and just sweeping things under the carpet. So unfuck yourself. Holy shit, guys. I mean, this thing could go on. I mean, I've got a couple notes on my phone right now, but I'm using it as a navigation tool while I'm driving. But I'll try to remember some of these before I have to go here. One of them was under the rule of Stalin, Joseph Stalin in Russia. He actually killed more people than I think they said in the Civil War and the Vietnam War, I think it was, combined. It's not the point of it, though. It is interesting, though. That's more than Hitler, guys. He killed way more people than Hitler, and Hitler gets all the fucking praise for it. That fucking asshole. And it was his own people that Stalin killed. You guys can Google it, look it up. But there was a story, a documentary, and then there was a survivor of it, an old ass man. And what he said was that they made them break rocks. They basically imprisoned them, barely gave them enough food to eat, and chiseled rocks. And this old man said he did a trick. He tricked himself into waking up every single morning and loving, can't wait to go break some fucking rocks, man. I'm gonna chisel those things and into forms and stuff, baby. And that's what saved him. And he said that he could see the young people, the new people coming in, and he already knew by the way they walked, by the way they looked, because he's been there so long, which ones were gonna die and which ones were gonna make it. But the point I wanna make to you is, if life sucks, if you've painted yourself into a picture, or into a corner rather, and you're in debt and you got all this shit and you're looking at life and all these things are fucked up. I'm actually one of those people, guys. I'm not in debt and all that, but I'm doing things that I don't really want to do, like fucking getting up and working in the goddamn rain and when it's cold and working like 10 to 12 hour days, you know, going to bed at midnight, working on my fucking computer. But what I did is I tricked myself like this old man. And I started looking at the things, the perspective, right, of the why are you doing these things. Is when you're starting an alternative lifestyle design, I don't want to scare anybody away, but you kind of have to go through some shedding of stuff. It's like a detoxification. Freedom is well worth it. It balances itself out immediately because you start to experience more freedom, but you start to know that, you start to realize that you've been lied to on a lot of stuff, or that a lot of stuff is bullshit that you're hearing, you know? You start seeking answers and doing things on your own. You're like, wait a minute, life doesn't have to be that way. And people, no, life has to be that way. And you're going, wait, no, it doesn't. And it kind of sucks, right? But the going back on the work thing is, get your priorities. Like for me, is my children and my dog that just passed away a few weeks ago, which I still miss as fuck. I'm deleting her slowly out of my life. I don't think I'll be able to do it forever, but all the things that I do, I always look that it's for my kids, it's for myself, it's for a future of my planet and things. I think when you give without getting anything in return, when you help somebody, the feeling that you get in yourself, it's like selfishness on that aspect of it, makes you actually feel really good, guys. And I think that's like one of my biggest things is like with this show, is to know that I'll be able to help some people's lives and get some feedback like coming back to me, because it is my philosophy that when you die, you will have, your life's like a movie, right? You're gonna have these feelings and these thoughts, because at that time, everything's stripped from you. I don't give a fuck if you got $1 billion or what. You ain't got shit at that moment. There's nothing anybody can do for you. But you do have these feelings that you've carried in this bank account of yourself and your thoughts and these views, these movies that you created. And I'm already so happy with the things I've done, the differences I've made for my world and the world in general, that I could die today and feel really happy about that. My thing is, I just want to do more. But yeah, I tricked myself into thinking all these things that I'm speaking to you right now. And that's my motivation. Some people ask, why are you so motivated? Where do you get your confidence and your positivity from? And believe me, it's not always positive and it's not always confident. But I just keep going back. That's what I just said right now. It's not always. And when I do get in those holes, I revert back to the why. What is my motive? Where am I going? How is this going to happen? I look at my plan. It's kind of like my financial plan I was telling you guys, is like, you got to keep looking at the money. You see the bank account starting to form. You're getting rid of debt, and you see money starting to rise up, and that gets you even more motivated. First month you had $1,000. Second month you have like $2,000 saved up, and then it starts snowballing. It feeds on you, just like the positive energy here. So trick yourself into liking. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, what the fuck? How the fuck do you do that? You make a game of stuff, just like taxes. Taxes is one of the most grueling things on the planet, at least for me. And I just got in there and made a game, as I said, laughing at it, like, one more fucking uppercut, motherfuckers. You ain't getting that money from me, you know? And just looking at the whole thing and making a design. And I don't know, guys, just streamlining your life. That's, unfuck yourself. There's nobody else that can unfuck you. If you're fucked, man, it is, like I said earlier in the show, because of other things, other events, lifestyles, things around you, but it doesn't have to fucking be this way. And you need to realize that it's your perspective and your subconscious mind and the cement that you keep putting in your life. All right, if we're gonna get out of there, it's got to start with you. And I think that's one of the fears I have about this show, man, is that it's not, besides my potty mouth, is that most of the message, most of the things I think are work, you know, but in the end game, in time, it's a lot less work than what we're doing. And I think a lot of people, what I'm noticing, are just not wanting to do the work. It's completely evident. I had a conversation with somebody the other day where they're talking about doing taxes and money and stuff. And they were like, what's your story, man? How long are you gonna live in an RV park for? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking about buying a house. I'm like, well, right now is the worst time to buy a house. And I was like, yeah, really? Why? And he's like, well, that's what they say. And I was like, why are they saying it? What makes sense to you on it? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I was just saying that's what people are saying. So I'm like, so you have no fucking clue of why this is the worst time to ever buy a house. I'm not saying I'm going to buy a house too, by the way, but you get what I'm saying? So then I started telling him, I was like, well, that sounds like a bunch of hokey pokey. I'm like, the interest rates are the lowest they've been in a long time, and they're actually maintaining pretty fucking good. So in contrast, I don't know. I'm not a realtor. I don't know much about buying homes and things of that nature, but I'm smart enough to look and say, well, that kind of makes sense. But we started getting a deeper conversation about taxes and everything. I was like, you know what, bro? He's asking me what my future is, and I'm like, it's all about perspective, and it's all about, I want to get as much money behind me. I got my emergency supply. I got a year's supply of emergency money. I always want to maintain that no matter what I do. So let's say I did want to buy a house and I had to put 20% down. I want the 20% plus my year's supply of emergency funds. That's how I just function. But I was talking about ratios and taxations and things of that nature, and I was like, man, it's really mind-boggling stuff. And he's like, that's why I work for somebody else and let them worry about it. But yet, they bitch and complain about how their boss sucks, how they hate their fucking job, how pretty much everything just pretty much blows, and that they're being shortcutted by their boss and everything else, you know, and just pretty much just hate life, but don't want to do the work. And then they wonder why they are where they're at. And it's scary, guys. There's another person. The RV park has some people that I think are a little, you know, not quite all there, but there's a lot of good people in this place. And right now there's a good person that's, to my opinion, working on the wrong things, and she's getting evicted. They're putting their energy, their time, their money, and their focus in the wrong things. They're not playing life. They're not playing the deck of cards right, in my book. They're not getting their emergency funds and paying off debt and coming up with plans and doing the work. And now, when you're not doing the work, I don't know if you guys realized from statistics, I don't know how true this is, but they say that the average American has less than like $1,000 in their bank account at any given time. That's fucking scary. That means if the economy collapses or something happens, these people don't have a plan, they're out. They're gone. And yeah, well, I'm at my job. I've got to look at some stuff here, and you guys, I think you need to get some perspective. You need to figure out what the fuck's going on. I hope these things that I speak of to you guys today awakens you into the ideas of what is possible, what's out there, and to be able to identify with the issues in life of how to unfuck yourself. So with that, up and in it, guys. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you. Check out It's Up and In It on all the platforms, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Instagram, or whatever, all these, Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And as I always say, I'll end with, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness, carry on the fire. Human up first, guys. Be a human. Fuck man up, fuck woman up, or cowboy up. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it. And we'll definitely be back with some more series on this.